Okay, there we go. Okay, everyone. Thought I'd hop on to do a live. I haven't done a live in a long time. For those who haven't, maybe check out my stories today on the Dow. The trades that I did in real time. When I get the chance, I will trade in real time for people to follow and see how it kind of works, and I kind of explain basically what it is that we look at. And I've talked today about Dow. We've incorporated EMAs, VWAP. We've been heavily reliant on the TPO that I have on Sierra chart that's set up for me. We're at a point now where if you're a day trader or wanting to day trade, each market has its own unique characteristics. So for me, for day trading, I will do the Dow. We're now just coming into 2 hours into the New York session, right? Now, typically, what you'll find about 90 minutes into New York, so at about 4 p.m. UK time, GMT, you will see the market start to stagnate. This move that we've had prior to the open, so the open was here, I was telling people to be long. If you read all my stories today, you'll have to go back and look at it on the page. I was telling people to get long. We had that amazing initial pop, and we had so much chop, and we eventually continued the pre-market trend, which was basically trending down. By the time New York opened, the market was down right around 0.75%. Funnily enough, we're right back above pre-market levels now. We're just coming above. And that coincides with us coming into VWAP. Now, for me, as a trader, I use 1, 15 and 30 minute charts. That's a 30 minute on my right. I always have a 1 minute running for the Dow on this screen. Now, when I'm day trading, that is. Now, when we talk about EMAs and we talk about retracements and things like this, I am looking at blended averages. So I am constantly calculating, one, what is the price difference from New York Open, often from midnight, so the next calendar day itself, so after Asia. I'm looking at retracements from, if we're in a downward trend, I'm looking at a 30 minute, a 1 minute and a 15 minute, and the EMA is highest on a 30 minute. I'm looking at how far can we run back up? Can we retrace? What's the difference? So I talked about the 1/3, 2/3 retracement that we had earlier. The trade I put on, I attempted it the first time. I think I lost about 17 points. Got back in, took 30 points. And then about there, we came into 2/3. We're now at the full retracement between the cash flow that we had in the session, which I marked down there, and our lowest EMA on a 30 minute. We broke the EMAs. We had what we call a crossover on the 1 minute. So you've got to look at these kind of things. You've got to understand the characteristics of the market you're trading. I, for example, don't trade the NASDAQ or the S&P 500. I only trade the Dow. And it's worked out well for me because I don't know many Dow day traders. It's an index that doesn't get much interest. It's a bit of an old index, if you will. And the way that it works is it works on weighted share price rather than market cap. So you look at the top 5, 6 holders in the Dow, and it's actually based on their share price and not total market cap like NASDAQ. So the trading, just to begin with, is completely different. And you will find that when markets are having these curvature moves and you get a flip over on the EMA, a crossover, when you initially come into VWAP, I've noticed 8 out of 10 times you will reject it for X amount of points. A very small move of the day's overall move, if you will, small percentage. But there's often opportunities to make 10, 15 ticks. And those trades, if you were just purely trading that one strategy alone, I think it pays out like 7.5, 8 times out of 10. So it's a high probability trade. And that's what we're looking for, compounded over the quarter, basically. So just thought I'd hop on here because a lot of people, they do seem to watch my stories and things like this and asking about TPO. And if you look at today's TPO, ignore the date. This is the correct date. If we look at the retracement that we've had from, again, the session low, which was about 50 minutes into New York, we're almost back on a 50% retracement now. And as we come over VWAP, we've got to see if buyers are coming in. And we can look at things like tick volume to determine where buyers are. But we can also use the TPO to determine where markets have been stagnant. So where the market has, whether you've got a thick profile, markets have been often range bound and stuck in areas. And the reason for that is because we have areas where people get triggered and close out a position, and then the market goes in their favor, or they get stop run and things like this. So you need 6 or 7 different strategies in your toolbox, and you need to understand the characteristics. The Dow is a stubborn old index. It works, and again, you'll often see this pattern as well. First attempt into VWAP, retraces, eventually breaks through, comes above by a minuscule amount, retraces back to VWAP. Sometimes we come under and it's not early enough for a crossover and we don't fully come back down. We're trapping early, maybe short sellers, and then often later in the session we'll bleed them out. It'll be a really slow rally on low momentum. Again, if you look at the time that this move has taken from the low, roughly 50 minutes into New York, we printed that New York low. Pre-market low is back this way. You will see that the move that we put 50 minutes in to here, this time in terms of percentages, because we're always looking in terms of percentages, not points, because the index is, trading at 49k. It's a lot higher than S&P, for example. So really important to look at percentage moves and don't get hung up on points. The point I'm making, though, is this move. You'll get above, and often you'll need to understand the key times where things can transition. So I can tell you, for example, from experience, that often around 6 to 8 p.m. UK time, which is anywhere from 4 to about 6 hours into the American session, you will often get the dreaded rollover. You will get the move where the entire time you've been thinking, right, today we're looking for this short, but the market's been ticking up slowly. It looks like a rally on paper, but if we dig a little bit deeper, the momentum is not there. There can be signs to see where we could be stalling out. We come back into VWAP. If we don't get new buyers coming in, what you'll often see is anyone who's trying to been selling under VWAP, yes, you've made money, but you've got to be able to take your money and know when to get out. Because if you held your shorts here, you're now back at a loss. As we come over VWAP, we're looking to see if we get new buyers coming in, playing the momentum game. And remember, this move that we get initially above VWAP is helped because you've got people here who didn't take profit and now closing out, taking a loss. As they close, it'll register on your tick volume. You can see it'll trap people into thinking, right, we're breaking out. Then you come to 6 to 8 p.m. UK time. Why is that time important? Well, believe it or not, it's a commuter time. People are leaving office, leaving the work. They're making their dinner. They're not so focused. They're not necessarily at their screens. It's a perfect time to actually get the trade of the day, the play of the day in the market. When that happens, it sets you up for momentum as you go into late night Asia, for example, here in the UK. So these kind of things are really important. 9 out of 10 traders or higher do not make it as day traders, okay? And I can totally see why it's, for most people, a very hard way to make a living. I've been day trading for a long time, doing it full time with a lot of capital. Most people, it's not about being undercapitalized. It's not about having a fancy terminal. It's just they don't know what they're doing, okay? So that's a short video for you. Again, I've been now sat on my hands the last 45 minutes waiting for a potential short later in the session. We'll see if it sets up. I'm not married to the idea, but if things set up, then we'll monitor and see. Right now, we've got some momentum because we've got NVIDIA up about 1.5%. It's got a big weighting in the Dow. You need to be looking at Goldman's, Microsoft, Home Depot, Visa, Caterpillar. So I have a separate screen or tablet normally that will track these top 5, top 7 holdings in the Dow. I can see what they've done, and I can take a blended average of the day's move pretty quickly, and that'll give me a price on the index as well. Cheers, guys.